So I want to introduce Ralph first, Ralph Silberstein. Excuse me. Ralph is the president of CEA Foundation. Ralph has served as a Grass Valley Planning Commissioner and on the Nevada County Fish and Wildlife Commission. He is a retired software engineer, business owner, and a former building contractor. With 20 years of experience working on mining issue, he is an invaluable resource in the MineWatch campaign. And we are just, Ralph is just such an important person in all of this work that the community's been doing. And I think most people know that, but I just want to acknowledge that Ralph is really fabulous. And Ralph, can you give us a brief overview of what's happening at the moment?
Yeah, thank you, Greg. I'm going to hit on the recent events, starting with Well Owners Wells Coalition. So a group of well owners from the Wells Coalition went before the Board of Supervisors on December 13th to express their concerns that the threat to their wells was not being addressed in the draft EIR. The speakers provided evidence of the uncertainty in predicting impacts to groundwater in fractured rock systems, noted past failures, and asked for protection and to follow precedents with a domestic well monitoring program. In previous county projects, such as the most recent application to open the San Juan mine in 2012, and when the Idaho-Maryland mine was granted a 5-year use permit to dewater the mine for exploration in 1996, monitoring data was gathered in advance to provide a baseline. CEQA requires the draft EIR to contain current baseline well data in order to assess the potential impacts and have a means of defining mitigations. Current well data from all of the 300 plus nearby wells needs to be gathered and included in a revised draft EIR. Okay, so no doubt you've heard the final EIR was released on Friday. As one expert who is familiar with the draft EIR stated, that's ridiculous. There were numerous omissions and errors in the draft that required it to be updated and recirculated for review and comment to comply with CEQA. The county apparently ignored all of that. So what is the Nevada County Planning Commission's role? The Planning Commission hearing in February or March will vote on whether to certify the final EIR, and they will also make a recommendation to the board on project approval or denial. So regarding the comment period is not 10 days, it's at least until January 25th for a hearing after February 1st. We requested an extension of time and for clarification on the deadline for written comments. So we're hoping to hear back on that. So stay tuned, and we will be reviewing the final EIR and providing more information and ways that you can get involved. The next few months will be very important. So about the economic, slide please, the economic study. Kudos to the Nevada County Board of Supervisors who commissioned this report in order to get a reliable independent analysis of the impacts of the proposed mine on our local economy. We appreciate their taking action on this rather than relying on a private report that was produced by Rise Gold. Consultant RDN's source of information was problematic, and it's important to note that most of the report is, I quote, based on the assumption that it would operate as proposed by the applicant and is documented in the project description in the draft EIR. We feel that these are huge assumptions. CEA Foundation and many others have provided clear reasons why the draft was inadequate and that it required recirculation before a final EIR could be produced. The draft failed to correctly identify significant impacts, with missing key baseline data and contained major errors. Also, Rise Gold did not provide any estimates of the cost of facilities construction or dewatering the mine. So RDN was given a job of making an accurate economic study based on missing, misleading, limited, and unvetted data in many cases. In other words, there's a lot of questionable things to say about this report, which we will talk about. But I do want to make clear that the report provides a lot of useful information about the mine project in general, and it gives us a good framework for assessing the economic impacts and for correcting the record regarding claims made by Rise Gold. Next slide, please. I'll briefly point out a couple of examples. For the indirect jobs numbers, Rise was claiming 300 would be produced by the project, and RDN report rolled that back to 163. And in terms of local spending from the project, the Rise report claimed $12.5 million spent locally, and the RDN report rolled that back to $5 million. Okay, so that's all I have to say at this point. We'll move on to the first of our speakers. Thank you very much.